Hey everybody, John the Other here, obviously. And this is a video about a community guidelines strike that I just had on my account and a video that was taken down, which I'm going to talk about in just a minute. But I'm going to answer a question of a viewer first, which I never answered in the comments thread of the video they asked it in, which was like a week and a half ago. So I apologize for not responding, but here's the answer now. It's about what I'm wearing. This, despite what it looks like, is not a pair of yellow suspenders. This is, in fact, a high visibility harness that you wear, so you don't get hit by a truck or perhaps a forklift when you're working around a truck or a forklift. And I'm obviously wearing it while I'm making a video, and you might ask, well, why am I doing that? The reason is because my high visibility vest is dirty and it's in the laundry, so I'm wearing this in the interim. I mean, you don't stop protecting yourself just because you're not at the office. Anyway, let's talk about the video that I uploaded about 5 months ago that has just been taken down with a community guidelines strike on my channel, which was called Don't Be Transsexual. Now, I took that strike, and it was in the language of the strike, said I had violated the community guidelines, and there was some mention of hate speech. I can't show you that because the video is gone and I don't have the message anymore on my channel. Otherwise, I'd put a screenshot up of it. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about that. It was called Don't Be Trans, and I'm going to state right at the beginning that I was completely wrong to record that video and completely wrong to upload it, and I would like to now correct my opinion. I took the community guidelines strike. I've been accused of hate speech. Clearly I was wrong, and so I would like to correct the record and make amends and upload the video with the correct socially approved message. Now, in order to do that, we have to talk a little bit about what was in that video. I mentioned a couple of things, and mainly, this is what I said. When children who are prepubescent decide that they are the sex that they appear not to be, like you have a boy that seems to be a boy, has male genitalia, and they tell you, well, I not only want to be female, I in fact am a girl, we now typically put those children onto hormone blocking therapy, and we do this for girls who say they're boys as well. We now, with very little consultation, like less than an hour, maybe half an hour, put those children onto hormone and physical development disrupting drugs before they have gone through puberty. So they have child genitals, which are not reproductively viable, and we put them on drugs to suppress their hormones and their physical development during the period of time when they would be transitioning from being a child to an adult and becoming reproductively viable. And what this means is that as adults, these children, when they grow up, are sterile because their physical transition from child to adult, becoming physically viable as reproductive adults, we interrupt that. We stop that. And there's no going back. It's not like you can do it later. And I suggested in my video, the one that was taken down, that it's probably not a very good idea to take your child, who you're responsible for as a parent, and make them sterile and unable to have a family of their own. I suggested that was probably not a very good idea, and thus the video title of the video, Don't Be Trans. Additionally, when children manifest, the desire to be the opposite gender, a lot of the research and a lot of the literature suggests that if you simply let them have that identity, let them change their attire, let them change how they identify themselves, but do not interfere with them medically by suppressing their hormonal or their physical development, that in many cases they go through a period of identifying as the opposite gender, and then they just go back and then they become the sex that they are. They become the gender that they physically appear to be with the male or female genitalia. And then when they have sort of experimented and then just decided, well, I'm male, so I'm just going to be male, or maybe I'm female, so I'm just going to be female, then they don't enter the group who are 20 times statistically more likely to commit suicide. So additionally, in the video that got taken down, I suggested that maybe it's, as a parent or as a guardian or as a medical professional, it's maybe not the best idea to send somebody who you have responsibility for down a path that makes them 20 times more likely to commit suicide as an adult later in their life. So maybe it's not a good idea to sterilize children, and maybe it's not a good idea to push people along a path that makes them 20 times more likely to commit suicide, in addition to, the problems of homelessness and unemployment and drug addiction and mental illness. But That's the video that got taken off, and then the community guideline strike is clearly wrong. So really the message that I want to put out now, having had my thinking corrected, is that if you are responsible for a child, whether you're a parent or a guardian or a medical professional, you should absolutely interfere with their physical development so that they're reproductively non-viable when they become an adult. They can't have children, they're sterilized. That's the good idea. And you should also encourage them and propel them along a path that increases their statistical rate of suicide later in life by 20 times. That's the approved message, and I have now been corrected. So thanks very much for listening. I apologize for my previous comments, and this is the new and correct way of thinking. Do be transsexual. It means interfere with the physical development of children in the most cruel and sadistic, callous way to appease political fashion, and also send people with very little consideration for their later life outcomes along a path that increases the rate of suicide by 20 times. That's the right thing to do, and I now understand. I'm sorry I was so wrong-headed before. Thanks for listening, and as always, have a lovely, lovely day.